if I may add to what Owen is saying, he also sort of had a kind of an unusual innuendo towards the Arab population and the Arab-Israeli electorate, which is not a usual thing for Netanyahu. And he said that the outside Abraham Accords is sort of a kind of a groundbreaking development also for the coming closer of Jews and Arabs within Israel, which is, I found that quite interesting given his former comments in previous election campaigns. So that's also an interesting
Absolutely, maybe, and I think this is what you're getting at, maybe a reference to Mansour Abbas and his faction within the joint Arab list that has potentially been interested in cooperating with Netanyahu, and Netanyahu may be hinting at future cooperation there. Again, the open question about whether that's really about the grand ideology and the grand reconciliation that Netanyahu is talking about, or about some more mundane wheeling and dealing in Israeli politics. We'll watch that over the weeks to come.
So stay with us, because if you're just joining us, we have been talking about the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu and Jared Kushner have just been speaking in Jerusalem. Let's take a very quick listen to what the Prime Minister had to say.
This is a groundbreaking visit that will expedite the normalization relations between Israel and Morocco. And I remember, Jared, back in 2017, when President Trump first called upon you to advance his efforts to bring peace to the Middle East, all the experts, the so-called experts, belittle your appointment. By the way, I ask you, don't take it personally. They do it to me too. Now you can say, I can say, how wrong these naysayers were. Because over the years, I can tell you, I've met countless individuals from different countries who've tried to advance peace in the Middle East. Many were appointed by their government, some were appointed by international organizations, and some appointed themselves. Okay? And they all espoused noble values, noble intentions. They all sought to leave their mark. But few, I think none actually, had greater success than you, Jared.
So, Ruth, I want to bring you in here because we're hearing about the possibility of other countries following suit. How is that going to change, though, when there isn't a Trump administration?
What I've always said is that the whole Abraham Accords is not only game-changing, but it's sort of like breaking the Berlin Wall. I think it is so instrumentally groundbreaking and different, so huge that there's no going back. So whether it is a Trump administration, which is going full volume into the Abraham Accords and more and quickly, and one can see that very much. How many countries can we get more into the frame before we leave? Perhaps it'll be slower, perhaps it'll be more weighed, and yet there's no going back. I do not see Gulf states, for example, Bahrain, the UAE, after making such a huge campaign for the peace, particularly with the policy of the leadership saying, if we do something, we don't do it. We do it 1,000%. We put all our efforts into it and we'll be number one. We'll be the role models of peace. I don't see them going back. So Trump administration or a different administration, I don't believe there is a significant change. But there may be a slowdown.
We certainly will be waiting to see how it all unfolds. Ruth Wasserman Lande and Owen Altman, as always, thank you both for your insight on this historic day. And of course, there